slightly favor Secret's lineup. I'm a bit concerned on how the safe lane's going to go. I should say how the off lane's going to go for Spirit. I think Doom and Nyx Assassin is not the greatest laning combo at all.
And Clock Nyx don't do anything against the push either.
Yes, and like Miposhka needs level 6, which is going to come out 11, 12 minutes. So then it's going to be up to maybe the power runes for Toronto Tokyo to make the rotations. For a Secret, you've got Nisha that can help out. You can even potentially rotate Resolution if he wants it. Maybe he can stay in the lane as well, but I think it's going to be a little bit easier at time for Secret to make early game plays compared to Spirit. Goes on.
We know the Rezo's a little bit active on the old voice lines. He enjoys them and getting in the head.
It's starting! It's starting!
Listen, Zayat's gonna get a little aggressive at the start here, and it's actually the dual supports that are gonna be doing the majority of the damage though. But Miposhka, yeah, Windlace might not be enough to be able to get away.
I'd have to TP up. Or just run. Okay. He's chilling. Miposhka, no stress. He's got that, yeah. Windlace, like you said, bonus movement speed. Miposhka gonna be A-okay. And again, it's gonna be Zayat's playing down bottom with Chrysalis, so happy with Resolution up top. What do we feel like the main reasoning is here for them swapping the lanes?
Give me a moment, I'll think about it. I mean, I think they just feel like they obviously want the Ursa into the melee matchup. That's probably the biggest thing. But in terms of Zayat's being there, maybe they just think that super early on he's going to provide a little bit more of that capability to lock in, get some rank picks up. You can see they probably would have secured that first blood if they started with the Orb of Venom, but he's got that queued up next on Chrysalis anyway, so it's very clear that they're going to be wanting to go for some of these kills, whether it be through speed or the Orb of Venom.
Already up to his shenanigans though. Regardless if it was the Nyx of the clock right down here, this is not going to be too fun of a lane at all for them to play with. See the Chrysalis is going to be able to dress it as well. Is he gonna? Oh, he's gonna pull the creep with him all the way under the tower for the Ursa. So not gonna go for the full deny of the wave.
Maybe he just wants that early level 2, right? To be able to make plays alongside Zayat's on the Shadow Shaman. We know how deadly the Shaman is with that strong right-click potential, but I'm sure Miposhka's always gonna have one eye on where exactly that creep wave is. He doesn't want to commit too deep, but he might have. Don't have that movement speed slow though. Actually, first shot, level 2.
Just go on more right. Collapse. Gets his body in front of the Ursa, so they will not be able to catch up. But again, with Chrysalis dragging the wave under the tower, Team Spirit will have full control of how the lane is set up. And this is incredibly important with the matchup. Like, the Ursa needs full reign of this lane to continue to chase heroes down.
That's a long tongue there as well that he was able to use the shackles for. But again, they would have got that kill if they just had that little bit of extra movement speed enhancing item. He's got the Boots of Speed sitting underneath the tier 1 tower now on Chrysalis, but it was scouted out by Miposhka with the Observer Ward, so he might even be trying to go for the Courier Snipe here as it comes through to him. Second one coming through. Shadow Shaman, couple of mangoes is going to enable a lot more of these kills to happen. Though, I mean, I think he's happy enough to drag him towards the left-hand side of this lane, because if that's where you're positioning, oh, Courier.
Radiant's Courier was caught in the crossfire.
Hey, he got the mangoes, it's fine.
Yeah, at least he got the mangoes.
But it means that if the Shadow Shaman's not there and he's more worried about the clockwork sniping Couriers, you don't have that kill potential onto Collapse, or you don't have that kill potential because the Ursa needs to stay in lane and farm. So I think it's divide and conquer. That's the main strategy coming through from Team Spirit here. Keep Collapse as separated, keep Zayat's and Chrysalis as separated as possible.
Side lane, it looks like Secret are doing a very good job. In fact, Resolution. And now get the trample going. Level 2, a lot of damage into Mira. Stuns brought him back for the moment, but it's not enough as Mira. Right click, the miss is not going to stop them short as Resolution finds first blood 3 minutes in.
Being able to go for these trample attempts every single time that it's off cooldown, going for a little bit of that extra movement speed. He's even got the Purge creep on the Sado Banisher. Going to be locked in place, completely vulnerable to that level 2 trample damage, and Puppy, he's got enough gold to buy the Ring of Basilius as well. So level 3, very, very strong timing to be able to get a second creep. For a bit of a backstab here. Again, just separating the lane though.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Handsome devil on time.
It's awkward though with
no
how they
mana.
can play. Zayat's might be in a bit of trouble. Post is going to be able to wrap around, get onto the Shaman. Chrysalis needs to jump in to try and eat up some of the battery soul. Attempted, but unfortunately wasn't close enough, so they bring down the Shaman in a collapse. He wants to continue on fall for more. The Scorched Earth starting to tick down Chrysalis. Can find a path through the tree line, can even cut forward for more if he needs to go to the north, but instead, Mercy will be okay.
Such a
so
huge
this
win
bottom
from
lane is
Spirit,
going
though.
much better for Spirit, though.
Yeah, I mean, to get a kill into this lane, like, it is very, very rare to be able to get that sort of opportunity, considering they've got the superior stuns, the lockdown, the damage. Team Spirit just able to influence the lanes to enable themselves to go for that early kill. Huge for Collapse and his impact that he's going to need to have this game. They feel like they just want to get one kill up top here on Secret. Again, they've got the Satyr Banisher. They've even got the Mana Burn Creep to make life just that little bit more challenging for Yatoro. Quite as easily available to use the World Axes even. Here we go. They're going for it. Oh, the Carapace though.
Points into Femira, recognizing the importance of that extra little bit of stun lock. Hold Resolution down, even though he has gone the boots to the windlace, so wanting all that mobility, but getting to the stage now where both supports need to be considering about how they're going to play around with this first power rune spawning in the next 30 seconds.
I mean, Puppy's going to be playing close-ish by. Like, the fact that Yatoro doesn't have any mana to play with means that you're not in quite as much danger on Resolution. I mean, he's sitting at full HP right now, full mana, even got the raindrops and that in the backpack. It means that Puppies can look to play a little bit more farm-heavy. You know, once you hit level 3, you can just spam that Penitence off cooldown, essentially, and get a lot of farm and enable the greed for yourself. I thought he might have stayed in the jungle just because he would have been close enough nearby to go for power runes, but they're going to go on Yatoro instead.
They are under the T1 tower they go. Not going to be able to close the distance, and then it's bottom where the action will continue to break out. Back and forth, some trading, some posturing, that's the main thing. Both sides eyeing up their opposition, seeing where the weaknesses are.
Desolation.
Two teams sitting very even in terms of their power levels right now. Tokyo,
Again.
he didn't even need, he was able to, claim the double damage rune. Potentially could have resulted in a kill for Nisha, right, if he was able to claim that one instead. Tiny with the Avatos combo, plus the tree throw, plus the right click going through. Might have been able to take him out.
They're going to be able to bring him down. One more swipe with a big claws from Resolution. There's that kill you were asking for up top, and they get with a big prize in Yatoro's life.
Do you see what creeps Poppy has? Do you see that he's got the double Mind Stealers? I mean, it's pretty busted.
Surely you just send them in, just run them at Toronto, Tokyo.
They're expecting a movement to come up here from him. He's going to bottle the bounty rune, move up towards top. They're not happy with the fact that Yatoro had a little bit of a difficulty. They're going to end up killing one of the Mind Stealers and maybe even the second one to enable Yatoro to have a bit of an easier time in the lane, but it's a bait.
Oh, they baited it. Oh, no, like this. Resolution and close the distance. It doesn't matter what heroes they pair against the Primal Beast. It always seems like Resolution will have an incredible lane on this hero.
Really good job up on that top side. Even now with the phase boots completed up as well, you can't afford to leave Yatoro up here. You're going to constantly need to rotate back, and maybe that enables some sort of movement elsewhere. You just hit level 6 on Rezo.
He's going to try and TP back in to help out.
Need the mana burn creep if you can just force him to use out all those spells defensively.
So what's the call now for Spirit? Are we hoping that Toronto Tokyo is going to start to influence some of the other lanes?
I think they might even just be waiting for Nisha to actually make that first rotation, right? He's going to move down towards the Radiant Jungle, just doing his thing, shoving in the lane, getting a lot of the farm on Toronto Tokyo, but we don't want him to make his movement. A kill's not enough. It needs to be a kill into a tower to allow Yatoro to go back and be able to pick up that farm for himself. Because while Collapse is having a fantastic game, it's coming at the expense of your carry.
He's having such an incredible game though, isn't he, on Collapse? Top of the net worth. Had Midas for a little bit of time now, so he's going to get another use out of it.
Zero downtime. I know you love that with the Midas.
Yes. Getting have the efficiency going. The post content sides See if he's going to have to damage himself. They do have Nisha starting to move over. So it's going to be a little bit too late to pop to the north. Nisha should still get a return kill nonetheless, but Mapushka's pretty happy with that. A solo kills a lot of experience, and the concern I had from Spirit was just maybe how late they would be requiring out of the hookshot to be making early game plays. So the fact that he gets all that experience is going to be really nice for them.
But I mean, just have a look at this bot lane. Chrysalis was not forced back into the jungle, but he doesn't feel confident laning up into this Doom because he's level 7. He hasn't got the point skilled up into the Doom itself yet, but if you do, then Ursa's just standing there. He's pretty vulnerable to just dying this early on with how farmed Collapse is. So let's need to this game. If you can get a kill onto Collapse, that would be enormous for not just his confidence, but slowing down a tempo a little bit.
Really needs this kill to connect here on Secret. They need to start to open up the map. Get Nisha close towards the blink and find Yatoro farming in the jungle. They're going to see the creeps off to the right side. They'll drop the ward as well, so they know exactly where the positioning is of the troll. No one else is starting to TP in as well. He does not have a level in the battle trance, so it looks like Secret... Oh no, Yatoro lives. Whirling Axes is enough. Really important now. Secret aren't able to convert on that.
And they're going to scout out the fact that it's warded up there as well. So nice free D-ward coming through for Mira. Be able to pick that up. Might even get the ult.
Potentially free.
Potentially. Nice stun.
And Toronto Tokyo
the arcade room
as well. Another lot of skills were used prior. They're going to turn to try and deal with the last track, making it difficult for Toronto to look to enter.
Or not.
Even Maposhka wants to get involved.
When Rezo shows, though, you can't look to pin onto this. He's way too strong.
That is indeed, but still, both sides respect each other. Back and forth, seeing the weaknesses, but none are being shown at the moment. No cracks.
No cracks right now. Does allow Yatoro to be able to make that rotation towards mid. He'll deal with the catapult wave as well. Worried about losing that tower. And this is the thing. We said that Team Spirit were wanting to, Team Secret were wanting to up the tempo. Every time that you're able to take out these siege creep waves, it's going to be beneficial.
Oh, Maposhka, hook shot in. They're even going to try and rotate Collapse as well. He's got the Doom and the blink already. 11 minutes in. But where's the follow-up though? That's where Toronto Tokyo is going to come into play. They can connect onto the Primal Beast and stop the escape as an incredible movement from Spirit, catching Secret off guard to blink dagger timing.
Yeah, and Yatoro is like, thanks boys, I'm just going to chill back and farm. It Collapse, what a god coming through. He might even be able to get another kill here, or at the very least force another TP rotation to come out from Chrysalis. Every time that this happens and you're not getting a high value kill, it's a huge amount of your time and farm wasted. He needs to get into that early diffusal blade and make the impact happen. He might have made a rotation just for nothing. Koshka TP's away.
Now really hoping that Nisha with this blink coming out shortly that they're able to find some kills off the back of it. I mean, the Tumblr's Toy is without a doubt going to be able to help out with Tiny's game, but this is not the start you'd be hoping for if you were Secret.
No, absolutely not. They wanted to have the net worth lead at this stage. They wanted to dominate that bottom lane, make sure that you weren't able to get into this lead, and feels like they're going to have a lot of difficulties with being able to take out Collapse, especially if he's going to be able to get into a BKB timing equivalent to that diffusal blade. That's going to be a big issue.
But I don't really have any vision of a Maposhka in the tree line, but somehow sidesteps the hook shot. He will still be chased down nonetheless, and Toronto Tokyo is able to move in and get a kill. Thank you very much, Maposhka. I'll take that. Level 10 on the left track, and now with maxed out Edict, this will be a tower goal in the way of Spirit.
He needed it though, to be fair. The Toronto Tokyo last year, it's so important we mentioned being able to get into that Bloodstone. That little bit of extra survivability in these engagements. Not the longest cooldown anymore as well, so it really enables you to consistently take these team fights.
Dire's
Ursa draft
tower is under attack.
Let's help out a little bit. Make sure that Chen creep starts to tank it up a little bit, but they're scouting it out.
Oh.
Dire's top
Got
tower
it
is
as
under
well.
attack.
Looks like they might be a little bit too late. Collapse with the blink, can he time it? Not gonna go for it.
Dire's top tower is under
Big
attack.
ages to pick up here from Chrysalis. It's allowing that second Roche to spawn at a faster timing, and for them, they're getting very close to a stage where they're ready to go. And Resolution's gonna have a great timing on the BKB. You got Diffusal Blade almost completed, Serpent Ward to the ready, but really the other important thing is this mechanism on Poppy now completed. They can get some kills, you can really do a lot of damage into the objectives.
Oh, for sure. Even just the Seeds of Serenity. might not feel like that much, but when Yatra is locked in onto someone, you just drop it down, provides them with a little bit of that extra survivability. No points for divine favors. Yeah, no hand of God.
Speaking of Yatoro, is really far pushed up forward, and with Nisha's blink as well, an easy kill for Secret to find a much needed kill for them.
Very, very greedy coming through there from him. I mean, he hadn't picked up the Battle Fury just yet. I think it was almost available on the courier. No, never mind, about 600 gold away from that as well. Puppy was just sitting mid, getting his level 6. Now the Hand of God's available, and now maybe you look to make that aggressive movement with the Aegis. The Diffusal Blade, I believe, coming out for Crystallis. We've got the Mass Serpent Wards back up again.
This is... all the timings aligning here for Secret. Like, you are ready to go. The Nyx Assassin is very weak into a 5-man. You know that the Troll Warlord is going to have some difficulties with getting involved as well. Just trying to see what Secret, how they want to set themselves up. If they're just going to brute force down mid, or if they feel like they need a pick-off, or they can maybe start to put some damage into the tower.
Yeah, obviously it's not ideal for Yatoro to die on the bottom side, but I can see why they were doing it. You know, he knows that that timing was coming very shortly, so they wanted to make sure that every single rotation would be completely obvious, right? So if the lane's pushing in underneath the tower and they're not showing on the map, something's up. So forces his death, slows down that Battle Fury timing. It does mean that they still didn't take a tower off the back of that. What Secret do in the next couple of minutes is going to determine the outcome of this game, I think.
In fact, they were just waiting for the BKB on resolution. Now starting to be delivered on the courier.
And you've got the siege creep
as well.
Play around that mirror. He'll do his best maybe to try and shove this one out. Not wanting to commit the impale, of course, in case a team fight freaks out, but just pulling the wave underneath the tower, making sure that the siege creep is going to get hit down by the tower as opposed to being protected. Low invade from Secret, only taking a bit more of the map control away from Team Spirit. They'll look to play around that siege creep. I wonder if Zayats is going to look to just commit the Mass Serpent Ward super early on into this, or if they feel like they could take the Tier 1 tower because of how strong they've hit the timing.
They're going to jump on Miro. dota2fullmatch off the right side, ready to provide some assistance, but yeah, no, you're not going to look to enter the fight as soon as it starts like that. So Secret get a kill into an objective, and now they're going to look to try and occupy some of the jungle.
Like a cat collapse, that'd be a bigger kill, but he's playing underneath his vision, and he's got the BKB as well if he wanted to make more of an aggressive jump. Might just be looking to wait for Miro to be back up online.
Collapse going to move on forward. Back, respecting the threat of Crystallis. Both sides able to clean up the observable. It's Crystallis around.
Spirit are happy with this. You know, it's a heavy rotation. They were forced to use the Mass Serpent Wards because they weren't confident in being able to take the Tier 1 tower without it. It means that you're still able to defend the Tier 2. You can have more space to farm on Yatoro. He's got the Battle Fury and he's going into that BKB, and you certainly feel a lot more strong once you've got that to play with.
Collapse might be in trouble top. He's going to be quick on the fingers, but Zayats still gets the BKB off, and Collapse going to turn it around once the kill into the shadow shown and said, get the deny now the damage. Oh my, Crystals just rips apart, sinking the claws deeper into the doom. And that is big now. An ultimate use BKB as well. You can get more out of the map if you're Secret.
Yeah, they're going to try and do a little bit of a push onto the top side, but again, Shadow Shaman, deny, great. Don't have the Mass Serpent Wards anyway, but you're still forced to TP back, so they don't actually get too much out of this top side of the map.
Middle tower is under attack.
A little bit of damage into it, but no glyph being used. Forces again. Secret back, playing a little bit more defensive. They've got some timings coming up, I suppose, with the Sange coming from the final beast. I would assume he's going to go into the Halberd this time around against the Troll Warlord as opposed to the Kaya Sange.
Oh man, Nyx Assassin again. What a hero, but really it's the play that makes it shine. Pops the smoke from Zayats and Crystallis.
Yoink's the case, maybe. Yeah. Love to give it over to Toronto Tokyo, but need this speedy little roaming Observer Ward, even better. So close to his own Blink Dagger as well, just to set up for a few of these team fights.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Want to try and... Do you feel like you want to force if your Spirit now? The Aegis is down and you just got some of your own items?
Maybe now that you've got the Kaya on Toronto Tokyo, you're feeling confident enough. I mean, you'll have Bloodstone Kaya, which is a pretty big spike. You've got the Blink Dagger on the Nyx Assassin. You've got Doom with BKB available once again, so yeah, they're feeling confident enough to be able to make this push forward, but I like Secret. I like the fact that they've taken this the 2-tower away. It means that they can just occupy the jungle, again, shrink the amount of space that Yatoro has to be able to farm, and enables them to have that extra control for the second Roshan. Ursa draft right, we know how important it is for him to be able to claim that free Aghanim shard for himself.
Very, very important to have that extra little survivability.
Tower is under attack.
See how both sides are able to get themselves set up here for that next fight that's eventually going to occur. I feel like Spirit, the big reason that they're going to come out on top depends on Collapse and who he can use his ultimate on. Who do you feel like is that prime target? Who does he need to focus down in these fights with the Doom?
Depends who he makes the initiation onto. I feel like as long as you can block out, I would probably say the Primal Beast, to be honest, before he's able to use the BKB, then you're just a slow right-clicker at that stage, and then you just don't need to worry about him at all. You can pop your own BKB, you can run to the Shadow Shaman, and look to take him out with just some of your right-click damage and what are the other tools that you have at your disposal.
Lane Collapse.
Basher,
Some trouble.
but
We'll stomp into the BKB.
they BKB for it though. You're happy about that on Spirit, and maybe that opens up the opportunity for Secret to make their own move. Picked up.
Now for them.
PD, Echo Saber, now Nisha becomes a little bit more of a team threat. It's this roller coaster constantly, right? Going back and forth with who's strong at what period around what timings. Spirit, they really do feel like they need to play around these BKBs quite heavily. Again, make more time for Yatoro to be able to pick up his. He's only about 700 gold away. Too many camps for him to be able to farm, and he knows that without Doom having that BKB for himself, he has to play a little bit more defensively, which means that Yatoro doesn't have the freedom to farm. He's not in this jungle. He's just off inside the tree line as Secret, going for the next pick-off to lead into a tower with the Mass Serpent Wards.
And force the issue here. Kill onto an objective, getting some map control potentially with the Roche spawning shortly as well.
They've read it.
Have a lot.
They've read it on Spirit. They're grouping up together at the top of these stairs, making sure to pick up these kills. Maposhka as well. Look at this. He's even stacking inside of the Radiant jungle. It's going to be under vision though, so I wonder if that's going to get scouted out and have a response to it by Secret. You're not quite at the stage yet where you might be looking to go into the Roche pit, although actually it's a 2-second respawn time. This is going to fit Secret entirely as they make that rotation back. Yeah.
Nisha able to get onto the postcard. A couple of members of Spirit in nearby. They actually want to take the team fight. Who's going to jump in with a fall from Victoria? They need a way to be able to cancel the shackles. They're going to try and target down Chris off the moment to right to Ursa. They've got the fourth damage thanks to Toronto Tokyo leading to the middle of the fight as well, but it's not enough. There's Resolution. Split back with the pulverize. The damage instantly negated thanks to Mira's spike character for Toronto Tokyo. He's gone unaddressed. They were trying to blow him up, but it just wasn't enough. And our Spirit can catch up to Nisha to the left side. But Resolution, he wants to hit back, a charge into the middle, and dancing off to the right side. Mira's got the blink back up in a couple of seconds. They know that they can catch up to the Primal Beast.
Pretty speedy.
They'll have... Nisha's also nearby. Beautifully done. Nisha stops the blink. Mira's still always gonna miss. Oh, Nisha, incredibly done from himself. Just enables Resolution. The only issue was if the Nyx Assassin could get on top of him, and Nisha make sure that was not the case.
I remember game 1, TI-10 Grand Final. Similar sort of thing happens with Mira. Just a little bit off with that stun coming through. You know, the first blood. This time around, it would have been a super valuable kill to be able to play him onto Red Zone. I mean, are we surprised anymore? Top of the net with the Secret. It does feel like he's doing a big part of carrying this game. But Poshka survived for so long in this fight as well, just wanting a little bit more emphasis to get over onto him. It was a great Doom as well onto the Ursa, realizing that, look, we can take him down. Chrysalis isn't able to do that right-click damage that's needed to be able to not only win this team fight, if he's the one that's going to be able to go with this Roche to take it, they still feel confident enough to be able to just run on in.
Zayat has to be addressed in this next team fight. He did way too much for them in Secret. A lot of the control that he was able to provide. We'll see if they will be able to do it in this fight.
I think so.
Down And Anisha's gonna get the jump as well. Oh, a lot of damage blowing up Mira. And now the second roast, the all-important roast given over to Crystalis.
Yep, and now it's just, yeah, you can farm, but you want to make good use out of this Aegis. You don't want this to be the farming Aegis where you can be on the enemy side of the map. Just be a little bit more greedy. Couple of minutes, 2-3 minutes, that's when Crystalis really wants to make his move with that BKB timing. Line the Mass Serpent Wards together with that. Try and close out this game. He's getting close to the Shadow Blade as well, so he's just going to go to try and enable this and not find one.
Poshka a little bit too late with the hook shot. And the rest of the boys, they don't want to follow up. They're just going to look to get out, try and get the other lane shoved in. The Posh's going to dance into the tree line.
Individual plays coming through, get causing all through cores to rotate down to the bottom side, and Rezo gives him the tip. He's like, oh, good work, man. Quite expecting that one to come through as the Arcane Rune now picked up by Nisha. They're tired of playing on their own side of the map. Maybe the call came from Puppy and said, why are we going back there? We've got the Aegis, we've got the strength right now, and they're playing without a Doom. So let's drop the wards, let's push this tower in. Even if they pop the glyph, this tier 2's still going down. And it's actually pretty big, right? I feel like the tier 2's still going to be under a pretty good amount of threat. And now, if you take the next team fight and win, they're not going to have that glyph for the tier 3 on the high ground.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Rezo.
You see Resolution
So
alone at the moment. How do we get the jump? It's going to be off the back of Collapse. Oh, hooks it off the mark. Resolution. Let's see on the fingers as well with the BKB use. Let's see if this is going to mean that Spirit can take the fight.
Puppy might use a couple of his creeps to assist with taking the tower, but just wanting to understand the situation with, where Team Spirit is positioning themselves, and BKB being used on Rezo, they feel like they can go, and they've got a pretty good observer ward to be able to catch someone out. Might just be the quick kill onto Puppy and Zayats as well.
It's a huge target if you can get this. Instead, it's going to be in the top lane because there's Anisha, Collapse and Yatori in combination together. Going to be able to get rid of the position too. Now back down to the south as well. They've got another jump on his Zayats. An incredible start to the team fight, but Spirit, they want more and they'll get it. But Posh got 4 stops down to the low ground, making sure that Puppy will not be able to slip all the way through the river.
Once again, they get out of this scary timing, right? You go for that probably a little bit too aggressive attempt by Rezo. Doesn't have the BKB to be able to fight just then, so he's forced to play back on his side of the map. Only got about 2 minutes left on the Aegis, and Crystalis, he's been spending a little bit of time doing, I'm not sure what. He was very close to being able to pick up that BKB a couple of minutes ago, and he's still good. He's basically got it now, but I mean, a lot more net worth being given over to Team Spirit. Kill, and while this was happening, they actually got a double stun at the same time onto both the Shadow Shaman and the Chen to enable that follow-up to happen. Crystalis wanted to be part of that team fight. He was zoning out Toronto Tokyo, doing a pretty decent thing, but again, I feel like fits best when he's playing in this like more off-lane style position 1, but this is a game where he needs to be the one to close it out. He needs to be in on the front lines with the rest of his team and prioritizing his own farm a little bit more. Still 4th on net worth, not terrible, but I think now that he's picked up that BKB, there's no excuse. You got to group up with the rest of the team and you got to go. Maybe they get tier 3 neutral items before they choose to do it. I feel like now's the time. 5 of them seem to be clumped up together. They might just use Rezo as bait, maybe baiting someone to move down to this bottom tier 1 tower, and then look to make an aggressive move elsewhere.
Dire's
A lot of vision to play with though in secret. And they need a ward dropped as soon as the smoke pops, and again, Mira's positioning's on point. Gets the blink out. Reads exactly where they are. And now they're going to look to wrap around. They've got a ward towards the triangle so they can get themselves set up. Doom on cooldown for 20 seconds though.
Puppy probably would have walked into his death there if not for the rocket coming out from Maposhka.
Dire's middle tower is
Mira with the
under
jump.
attack.
Face checking. Not the easiest kill. Crystal's going to jump over as well. And then Zayats are secret really
Heavy
wants
commitment.
to keep team fight, but not the greatest start. As the clock's going to buy these some spaces, Resolution's going to charge down to the low ground. The Collapse is in with a Doom, and Yator's locked onto his target. They'll be able to kill off the primal beast, and now they're looking for more. Venetia with a chain control. Crystal's at the top as well. Around the one, they'll turn to try and deal with Toronto Tokyo as Crystalis once again scores deeper into the left track for the roots from Yatoro. Keeping it alive, and now they'll turn it back around.
game roller coaster. Even in the middle of team fights, it's like, which way is it gonna go? They can make the amazing initiation through on Rezo, but no hesitation, just dropping the Doom onto him. He wasn't able to get the uproar, didn't provide the slow for the rest of his team, but more importantly, just didn't have the potential to have that extra armor to survive the burst coming through from the Troll Warlord. Onto 3, but yeah, just that instant turnaround coming. Collapse. React effectively and back and forth, stun after stun, back and forth, the patience coming through, realizing that they weren't going to be able to take out the Ursa instantly. They don't give the attention over to him. They say, let's take out the crowd control first, the root, the lucky root coming through, enabling Toronto Tokyo just to get away. That Aegis expiring in 3, 2, 1, and there it's gone.
Anisha tried to do it in those fights. Multiple rounds of spells being casted, but we just see once he gets stuck inside the middle, the Infernal Blade percent damage is just doing so much to him. He's got to be ever so cautious with the position. If he can dance in and out, ideal for them, but Spirit have a gigantic lead now, 7,000. They're going to make an attempt on top. Lux has got some points behind him. Let's see if he's going to be able to survive long enough, and he does indeed. And then getting on the turnaround, the Goons have shown up. No one will fall on Spirit. Everyone playing together in unison. They will make sure that Collapse lives and his counterpart offlaner will go down.
And it's just going to become harder and harder for Team Secret. They've put themselves pretty heavily into this early-ish game. I said, are they going to finish in 30 minutes or not? Still got tier 3 towers standing and under no threat of looking to go down. And as soon as you pick up even more of these tanky items like Toronto Tokyo, he's got the plate mail. He's going into the Shiva's Guard, going to slow down a lot of these right clicks coming through from the Tiny, who still can scale with this build that he's got. He's going to need to get that BKB to reliably feel like he can go into the middle of a team fight and not get caught out by the likes of the Infernal Blade. The damage coming through from Toronto Tokyo, as well as Mira on point again so many times with those stuns from the Nexus Assassin.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Just seems like it has to be the perfect ebb and flow of these fights for Secret. In and out, just continue to kite them. But
Tower is under attack.
it is a target that they have to firstly jump and try and clean off, and then maybe have the advantage.
Got to be Collapse. Absolutely has to be. I mean, he completely locks down the effectiveness of an Ursa. Same sort of thing with the Primal Beast. So you're able to get in onto him. He doesn't have the buyback right now. But that's going to be the main priority target. But he's doing a great job shoving out this bottom lane as making another move. Try and find that key pick-off with the Shadow Blade, with the double damage and the level 18, but collapses out. Spidey senses just enabling him to join the rest of his team, and maybe now they go for a smoke in exchange. Shiva's Guard freshly picked up. Even with the Satanic, I mean, all these timings linking up together, and they're going to use Toronto Tokyo as bait with how tanky he is. Preemptively using the Bloodstone there on the wave.
Fine. Sure. One more high gun as well. Smoke's gonna pop.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
The middle, and into his death. They're gonna try and pull Miro, but they're fortunate to be able to do so. But now they've got a free angle to target down with Ursa. Doom out and look at the damage. He just cleans him up with ease. And it's up to Resolution to turn this back around. A pulverize onto Yator side positioning. But Spirit, they've got 3 cores nearby. They can protect the troll and look to try and clean up the remaining forces, as there will be no escape for the Primal Beast.
Does feel like it's fallen out of their hands, doesn't it? They even picked up the gems, so they're going to be able to maintain control over the map, keep these lanes pushed in. No buybacks right now for Team Secret.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Going to move on forward. He had the Aghanim Scepter queued up for quite some time, and I was thinking, what's he thinking about here? But
has fallen.
the Satanic just enabling it to stay in there, lock in onto a target, and they didn't get that initial jump onto Collapse, which meant that the dude getting in onto Crystallis and his Ursa, he just didn't deal any damage at all in that team
under
fight.
attack.
Sure, they're going for a toss back. It's only Toronto Tokyo behind. This might be an opening part.
She's got the battle trains again.
Satanic get back up to full health. Higher minded again. It's a repeat of the last fight. Now Nisha as well. The Infernal Blade
They might need to call it.
making the Tiny crumble under the damage, and that'll be all she wrote. The Spirit, they withstand the early aggression, and they in the end will be able to take it 33 minutes in.
What a game by Collapse. Like, easily MVP for Mike getting away from the laning stage. You've got 2,000 net worth ahead of everyone else on the team.